Hi, Allison.
Hey, we just had two other people on, but I had to restart the webinar because my computer, my internet was unstable. So I
Oh,
just did that.
no problem.
They should be back in a minute. And I just restarted it so people can start joining
Mm-hmm.
anytime.
You have a really cool background.
That is the view from my office.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's almost exactly that right now. It's the time of day.
Yeah. I'm gonna put some light on. It gets pretty dark here at the end of the day.
Here's DC coming back. Sorry about
Hello, no problem. Greetings, Miss Kaniba.
Hi,
Kaniba.
DC. How are you?
Hey,
It's a pleasure to
good.
meet you.
Good to meet you. Good to meet you too. Thanks for allowing us to be part of this
Oh,
purpose. All right,
thank you so
and
much.
mission. Now, how do you pronounce your name? Anais?
Anais.
Anais.
Anais
Okay, thanks.
Nin.
Anais.
Anais.
Yeah, like a
Anais.
yeah, exactly.
Anais. Okay. All right. Hey, butchering names.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That is a very serious picture of Wayne.
That was me
Stoic.
dressing professionally. That's I have a corporate job look.
I was gonna say that looks like your CPA or something.
There you go.
Do my
Trust
taxes.
taxes. Trust me with your taxes. Ah, that's hilarious.
Um,
So, how many people are we expecting approximately?
Anywhere from 15 to 30
Okay,
or more.
okay.
And then there's some press that might show up. Um, there's a reporter from NBC that might join us who's written about this situation.
Hi, Wayne. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Ditto. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Are you based in Washington, D.C.?
That I am.
Amazing. I need to come see you in person then. I live
Yeah,
in
come
DC
on
too.
in. Right now, I'm in South Carolina visiting my mother. I came down for Mother's Day. I'm still here. Yeah,
It's called
mom is
Mother's Month
exactly. As long as I keep cooking, mom is happy.
this month.
If you come visit me, I could use some good cooking.
So, are you still in Florida now,
Me?
Allison?
No, I'm on Long Island.
Okay. 'Cause I remember at one point you did move to Florida.
Yeah, I was in Florida for a while, but I've escaped Florida.
Like before anything wacky happened.
Oh, wacky stuff happens every day in Florida.
Yeah, when I was in Florida, I lived in Tallahassee for like 2 years. Loved it to death. Did not want to go.
I hated every minute I was in Florida and was grateful to leave.
I don't hear that often.
Exactly. It's like, why don't people retire here? Why here?
As a Canadian, I apologize on behalf of my people. Um, we are part of the infestation of Florida. My bad.
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
are
that's true. All
forgiven.
the snowbirds.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Best clean room ever. Mama's got the best water.
Carolina water. Mm.
South Carolina. South Carolina.
South Carolina. I lived north. I lived in North Carolina, so it's a very clear, distinct difference. That borderline between North Carolina and South Carolina, it is very distinct. They remind you about that. Remind
I
me
lived
about
in North Carolina for about 6 months in 2012.
Which part?
Charlotte.
that. Oh, okay.
I
You in
worked
Steel
on the
City.
Democratic convention that year. That was in. That was down.
Charlotte is still a bit of the Charlotte is the southern hospitality without the southern mentality. All right. Am I right, Wayne?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're
Yeah,
100%
yeah.
correct.
But in South Carolina, you cross that border, it's a whole mentality.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All it takes is going over the railroad tracks.
I've actually spent a lot of time in South Carolina too, working on campaigns.
Wow. Did not know that.
Yeah. I used to work on presidential campaigns, so I traveled all over.
Cool.
Okay. Cool.
Allison, is there a state that you haven't been to before?
Alaska, Wyoming, Idaho. I've been to 45 states. Hawaii.
Based on the ones you listed, you're not missing much. Well, except Hawaii.
Hawaii and Alaska.
You know, I
Yeah.
was stationed in Hawaii when I was in the military, so yeah, I get it.
Yeah. But Alaska, that's a tough sell. That's a tough
Like,
sell.
is it going to be cold when I get there? Is it there's like that? Is it that daylight 6 months or the nighttime 6 months? Yeah, you gotta plan carefully.
You gotta say goodbye to your testicles because they're gone for 6-7 months out of the year. They just disappear. They're like hibernate.
Do you
I'm
guys,
from Canada.
when people sign up, do I have to let them in to a webinar, or can they just come right in?
You can bring them into the. You can invite them into the waiting room, or keep us in the waiting room and then bring them over. So it's up to you how you want to do this. All right, because.
I want to let them in, but I don't see anybody. Like, I don't. Will I see that pop up? I guess is what I'm asking.
I think there's a permissions on your end, which you could say new participants wait for an invitation from the host.
Let me check on what I have.
There's a permissions category.
I think I just have them come in.
Yeah.
I see Tyler's there, but I don't see Tyler. What's up with that?
I want to get my glass of wine so I can fully enjoy the
There you
evening.
go. Kick your feet up, relax, make it all
Yeah.
work.
Yo, Wayne, I've been stalking you from a distance on Facebook and on the YouTube. I admire your hustle. I admire what you're doing, bro. It's
Thank you so
thinking
much.
outside the box. So I admire any type of comedian who's got the hustle beyond than just what's happening on stage and created their own stages. So I was like, shit, I gotta pay attention. Gotta freeze my own game.
You happen to catch the article in the Washington Post about me? Yeah, there was an article in the Post because at a certain point in time, I chose to live in my car in DC for like a year to pursue comedy.
Well,
Wow, that's dedication.
Oh yeah, well, because it's like I was making money, but not making pay the rent money. So
Yeah.
it's like and that's gonna be part of
Yeah.
my set as well. I talk about that, like the hustle, and like the DC Comedy Writers Group. We started that like a decade ago. We're celebrating our 10th anniversary. Yeah,
It's awesome.
Right. I'm like, and I started comedy late in the game. When I started, I was in my 40s. So yeah.
All right.
And so the other running joke about it is my mom's like, so you gave up IT to do comedy. How long is this hobby going to be around? I'm like, Mom, it's what I do now. Yeah, but enough of this hobby. Go back to making money.
The H word, man. Like,
Right.
Mom, it's not a model airplane, Mom.
Exactly.
Got it. There we
I
go.
see people coming in.
Yep, some people coming in. Let's give them a few more minutes. I know
Okay.
my mom is coming, and it might take her a minute or two.
Okay.
And also too, just throughout the night, just encourage people to show their faces. I mean, Allison, you know this. You know the rigmarole, so.
Although most people want if they're being recorded because they don't want to have their face being recorded. Because what if you laugh at a joke that's like, oh, someone might see that I laughed at a bad joke. So yeah, if people don't do it, I'm fine with that. But I also encourage them to leave the mics on so we can keep the laughter.
Here's my mom is in the room.
Oh, let's all wave to her mom.
My mom is Ann Casson.
Hey.
For those of you who are just joining, we're just going to give it a few more minutes so people can join. I see people are joining, and that's good. And if you are unmuted, please feel free to laugh your heart out. It's always easier to do comedy when you hear laughter as opposed to nothing.
It fuels us.
Or booing, that's never good either. But
We're definitely gonna hear that laughter. Because like Steve Martin say, hey, if you're not gonna laugh, I can do this alone. I often do.
have us all on speaker view, but if you want panelist view, you can, or gallery, you can always change that, whatever you want.
Awesome.
I want to thank everyone who's come into the room. We are going to be starting in just a few minutes. I'm giving people a few more minutes to sign in. But thank you for your patience. Thank you for being here. It's weird. Everyone's silent.
Can hear you.
Okay.
Don't have to be. I can start singing in the background. Welcome to karaoke comedy.
I do love karaoke.
I do love karaoke as well.
Weird. My mother accidentally hung up.
I told one joke and she hung up. I blame myself.
No, no, go to attend.
My mother's having some technical difficulties. I wonder if anybody else is. I'm going to see if anybody's emailed me.
I was gonna say, what problem is she having?
Oh, don't even ask.
Okay, hey, at least your mother has email. My mother won't even sign up for email.
Well, some people are asking me for the link again. So I just sent it to 2 different people. So sorry about this starting a little bit late, but let's give some people a better chance to get in.
And if you look in the chat, Eileen's got a problem, but her sister has a problem.
All right. Sorry, technical issues.
I mean, if I can help you.
I don't think so. Somebody needs trying to send somebody the link and they seem to be having trouble with it. Oh. Now, you all got in with the link I sent, right?
It's a key. Yep.
The same link or a different link? Because it's
Well,
two emails.
I don't know. I'm just sending the invitation from Zoom, so I don't know what the problem is. Well, I think we should start in a minute.
Hi, it's Eileen. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, it's Eileen Small. Did you send the same link to everyone or did everyone get individual links?
Everyone got the same link.
Okay, I forwarded it to my sister and I'll ask her to try it again. Thanks.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Yeah, I just copied it and sent it directly from Zoom. Man, what the hell?
Margaret's is now working. I think she's coming on. Yay, thank you.
Okay, so we're going to get started because I just think we should. And I'm going to start off by telling you a little bit. First of all, thank you all for being here. This is a really important cause. It's very dear to my heart. And but I'm going to tell you about a vacation I took. I'm terribly afraid of heights. I get dizzy, I throw up, I get vertigo, everything. So where did I go for vacation? I climbed Kilimanjaro. 19,341 feet.
Wow.
And yes, I did it. But the funny thing is there's lots of drama on Kilimanjaro. Like you're in your tent, people think, oh, we can't see you, so they can't hear you. So we woke up this morning to this. I've given you 3 boys and the best years of my life, and you can't even ask if I want breakfast. You need to calm it down. You know, I think you're having marital problems. I'm going to prescribe a trip to a mountain. That sounds a very high mountain. It sounds like it'll help your marriage. And then we overheard, Becky, where's Becky? Have you seen Becky? Does Becky want butter? Does anyone know if Becky wants butter? I'm like, first of all, everyone heard you in the world. And if Becky didn't hear you, she's probably dead. So whatever. So we're climbing this mountain and you start the ascent to the final day at midnight. They say it's because there's something to do with scree, but really it's because later they'll tell you no one would climb that mountain if you could see how steep it is. And I'm looking up and I see lights. I'm like, oh, stars, pretty. Those stars are moving. Am I hallucinating? What? Oh my God, those are flashlights. Are we any progress at all? So I said to the guy, no, we're not. I'm never going to make it up this mountain. I've been training for 1.5 years. Don't worry, you'll make it up the mountain. I will carry you like a baby. You will do no such thing. I'm going to walk up the whole way myself because I worked hard. So I'm going up, we're at the top, and I'm like, every breath, every step is like, I can't do this. And I see people getting carried up like a baby. That doesn't count. You didn't climb it. You don't get the same certificate I'm getting. It's not fair. Get to the top, the guy's like, here's your certificate, congratulations. I'm like, oh, thank God. I open my eyes, he's like smoking a cigarette. He's like, I suck. So then we went on safari, because like that's what you do. Although I was totally obnoxious for the week after we climbed. I'm like, look at that peak up there. See that? See that? I walked to that on my own. Yeah, all the way. Did you do that? No? Yeah. Okay. Whole week I did that. So we're on safari, and I noticed all these cars are around this tree. I'm like, what's up with that tree? It must be awesome. And I was like, oh my God, lions. And everyone looks at me like, yeah, there's lions. It's a Serengeti. The lion was like, yeah, I was napping. Turns out those were the most dangerous lions we would see in Africa. They're very territorial, and they don't like being woken up from their afternoon nap. So then we saw lots of animals. We were having lunch one day, and I looked over, this adorable little monkey had run up. I'm like, oh, look at the cute little monkey. What's the monkey doing? Oh my gosh, the monkey is masturbating. Oh my goodness. I only like I'd entered his home and was doing like looking at him doing something private. What? Oh my goodness. And then he bent over, cleaned himself off, and went, that is the most flexible monkey. Every man on earth he was as flexible as that. Damn. Monkeys. So then, the first night in the Serengeti, I wanted to do the camping safari because I thought it'd be more adventurous. We heard a noise, and my friend goes, oh, it's wild pigs. And I'm like, wild pigs, sure. I'm from Long Island. What do I know? Turns out they were, next day, guy's like, there's no wild pigs in the Serengeti. Those are lions. The lions walk through the campground at night. What? Nobody told me this. Is that safe? Oh, you're perfectly safe. Perfectly safe. If we're so safe in our tent, why are you sleeping in a building? A tent is just a Dorito bag to a lion. What are the lions saying? One like, hey, honey, you hungry? Yeah, I could eat. You want some tourists? Of course I would. Americans? Too fatty. Mexican? Too spicy. Chinese? We'll be hungry in a half hour. English tourists don't taste like anything, and I don't like the way they treat Meghan Markle. Well, what kind of tourist do you want? I've given you 3 litters and the best years of my life, and you don't know what kind of tourist I want to eat? That was my African revenge. I will say the food there was amazing. I'm allergic to pineapple in America because they pick it so early, but it was amazing in Tanzania. I judge every place by its food. And on that note, I'm going to bring up our first comedian of the evening. He is originally from Canada. He is headlined internationally, primarily in Southeast Asia, and he was a finalist in the 2021 AMG Comedy Festival and has a comedy album on Spotify called Chocolate Durian. Currently, he calls Chicago his home. Give it up for DC.
Hey. Yep, I hear the clapper. I see it.
I think tell everybody else they can unmute. I feel like I'm your only audience member. This is Eileen. Do they know that they can unmute?
It's basically Clubhouse, but on Zoom right now, so it's all good. All right. Now, first of all, folks, I have to qualify what part of Chicago I'm from, because every so often after a show, there's always one person comes up to me and says, "Word, you from Chicago?" "Son, I'm from South Side." I'm like, hold on a second. I'm not from that Chicago. Because the Chicago where I'm from, if I'm in my car and I wave, someone's going to wave back like, hey. The other Chicago, I do the exact same thing. Someone's going to roll up to my window with, 5 ounces? 5 ounces? That's not my Chicago. As Allison's mentioned, I am Canadian, and I guess some people are kind of surprised, like, whoa, Canadian black. Guess what? This disguise, best disguise ever for Chicago. You buy it on Canadian Amazon. It's called the Incognito pack. Works very well, almost too well, because when I got pulled over by the police, I was like, damn it, should have read the small print. There's a warning on this disguise, wasn't it? Damn it, yeah, I should have worn this. Now, I'm proud to be Canadian. I wear my Canadian sleeve on my heart on my sleeve. I represent Canada as much as possible. I'm so proud to be Canadian. I bleed maple syrup. And no, it's not diabetes.
Yum, yum.
But I have a lot of friends in Chicago, DC. Because you're from Canada, you probably can't really relate to the Chicago issues, the drugs, the guns, the Section 8 issues here. You can't really connect with this. I'm like, listen, hold on a second. I'm from Toronto. It's not that much different from what you guys go through in Chicago. We just have our own unique quirk with it because we're Canadian. Like, we even have drive-bys. We're just more polite about it. Or like, yo, break yourself, eh? Pop, 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 pop. Sorry. Right, because you apologize a lot. And we not only just shoot you, we also call 911 for you. Right? When the police show up, they ask, who shot you? I think it was Drake who shot me. And then they take you to the hospital and they patch you up and they fix you and you get released again and you go out into the street and the whole cycle repeats itself. Why? Because that's universal health code, folks. It works. Before COVID, I spent 3 years in Singapore. And the folks, when COVID disappears, as it will, you have to travel at Singapore to one of those places you got to visit, firsthand experience, amazing life transformation, life transformative. However, there's no black people whatsoever. Like when I showed up, they didn't even use my name. They just called me a black man number 5. Like an endangered species, like the white rhino. And I kind of got concerned or apprehensive when I saw other black people in a country like Singapore. Like, 1 or 2 people I'd see, black people I'd see, like, yo, what's up, yo? I see a family of 5 or 6. I'm thinking, all right, could be family, could be a team. But when I see like 20 black people together in Singapore, and there's no barbecue and there's no music, I get concerned. Thinking, I didn't get the memo. Is there a protest going on? I think I should know about? Or even worse, are we being rounded up? Again? Not again. That first cruise ship that we got rounded up for, didn't work out well. It wasn't first class. That was cargo class. Never again. So yeah, I'm a bit apprehensive. And white folks, relax. We're not asking for reparations tonight. If you do, give it to Paul. All right. But Singapore is great, and what put Singapore on the international map was their COVID response, world class. They were on top of it compared to all the other countries. However, people were on edge. They were anxious. They were really just fearful. In fact, I couldn't ride the transit in that country and clear my throat without people looking at me like paranoid. And I had to go, hey folks, relax. It's not COVID. It's my Ebola. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. Wrong race. You're good. It's going to clear up in 2 weeks, folks. No. But Singapore was really, really safe. And here's how safe it was, and it still is. I left my iPhone in the taxi one time, and I panicked. And the taxi drove off, and I chased after the taxi. And I caught up the taxi, and I got my iPhone. It's like, oh my goodness. Whew. But at that moment, I was thinking, wow, I can't believe I'm more panicked losing my iPhone in the cab than if I left my daughter in the cab. Because, if you lose, because I know full well that if I left my daughter, a small black child, in a cab in Singapore, I'd be like, they'll bring her back. I mean, it's impossible to lose a black child in Singapore with Asians. In fact, if she did get lost, the country's so polite. Someone's just gonna probably find her and go, oh, you look lost. You probably belong to Singapore Black Men number 5. Okay, follow me. So polite. Yeah, but the pandemic did have its benefits for me. When I was stuck there, I had the opportunity to expand my comedy online, and I got some corporate gigs. And I got corporate gigs from India, folks. I got booked for corporate gigs via Zoom on India. That's right. India is outsourcing its foreign talent. Westerners. Folks, there's no bigger sign of Western privilege and first world development than that. And in fact, I mean, I know the rupee is going to get stronger than the US dollar. At this rate, I bet you this time next year, they're going to be building Indian tech call centers in Alabama. You're going to be here like, hi, this is Tata Motors. This is Becky. How can I help you? It's going to happen. Mark my words. No, but I had to return to the United States, and it's around November, October time that I returned. And it's kind of bittersweet. And then my friends in Singapore were asking, yo, DC, what's it like going back to the United States of America? I'm like, hold on a second. Well, we got to qualify United. I'm back in States of America, state of denial, state of delusion, state of depression, and the state of Florida. You know where it's at. You know where it's at. Oh, folks, I'm a dad, and because of COVID, I've had to become a homeschool dad by default. 2 girls. I have no clue what I'm doing whatsoever. No clue at all. I should not be teaching. In fact, I have no idea if I'm effective or not as a teacher unless for the next 6 or 7 years, I see them walking either across a stage or working a stage. Like if that's uncertain. That's uncertain. I'm just saying, it's still up in the air about how good I am as a teacher. But I'm beefing. My 7-year-old daughter, I have beef with her right now because she's a snitch. Yeah, I said it. She's a snitch. No, and here's the exact reason why. The other day she asked me, Daddy, I want you to teach me how to text and type accurately. Like, why? Why are you so insistent? She's like, oh, so you can tell Mommy how much I hate being your student. The audacity, I know, jaw drop. Audacity of a 7-year-old to say that to me, her father. And you think, as a responsible parent, I take the higher road. Nope. I'm petty. I take the low road. I'll come back to her with, all right, baby girl. In fact, you got a surprise quiz today. We're gonna do a spelling test. Spell this word. Tattletale. Tattletale. Okay, if you can't spell that, here's another test for you. Words that rhyme. Snitches get what? Snitches get what? What rhymes with snitch? I know you're 7. Folks, I don't care. Folks, I don't care. You know what? I hope she got the hint. But if she didn't, I'm going to hold her back a grade. Maybe 2, 3 grades, maybe 4 grades. Folks, she might be getting her menses in grade 5. I don't know. That's how much of spite I'm going to win this war, folks. But her and her sister are smart. They're really clever. In fact, they made a swear jar for me because I used to swear a lot. Then they made me a swear jar. Now, underestimated how much I swore until they actually redeemed the swear jar and bought stock in Tesla. It's like, wow, I better cut back. So I stopped swearing, cleaned up my act, and the swear jar is empty, kept the money in my pocket. But my girls are panicking. They're like, oh my goodness, we killed a cash cow. We can't have this. So they come back to me to want to renegotiate the terms. Like, Daddy, Papa, they're British. Papa. So what we need to do to the swear jar and to the list of words, Dad, you go out, we have to add the words snap, cheese and rice, dag nabbit, fart, shoot, mofo, because we know what you're trying to do, Dad. We know that you're trying not to pay out of those words. I'm like, no, we're not going to add those words to the list. Otherwise, I'll be out $1,300. No, forget that. So now they're colluding together to try and trip me up, getting me aggravated enough to swear. So my youngest doing stuff like losing my keys on purpose or leaving small blocks of Lego beside my bed so that I can step on it in the morning when I wake up. Walking in on me and my wife when we're having sex, really strategic stuff. My oldest is even more conniving because she's saying crazy stuff like, Daddy, Kobe Bryant sucked. Like,
Oh.
Or going one step further. Hey, Daddy, see this? This is the tramp stamp that I want to get when I'm 16. I want to save up for this. See this? This is the tramp stamp. I'm like, or even worse, Dad, relax. I have a boyfriend. Don't mind the ankle monitor. It's coming off in 6 months. You know what? I'm just going to give $20 in the swear jar and just go to town. All right, at this point, just go to town. You know, think about these Zoom calls right now. My 7-year-old is really, really strategic because, you know, as a parent, the best time to ask a parent for stuff is when they're doing stuff like this. Because my 7-year-old is always asking for stuff, and I'm always saying my automatic response to go, yes, yeah, yes, yeah. Right? I think some parents can identify with that. Until a couple of hours later, you hear me yelling from across the room, "Hey, wait! Why are you wearing Mom's wig and makeup? What is this stray dog doing in my house? What's this Jehovah's Witness doing in my kitchen?" Like really weird stuff is happening. I said yes to. Oh man, it's years before the whole COVID situation. A good friend of mine invited me to a strip joint for his bachelor party, and I reluctantly said yes. I'm reluctant because I'm a chiropractor, and I can't take my professional hat off. It's on all the time. I see the world through these lenses. So when everybody's at the front of the stage where the dancers were, throwing stacks on stage, going, "Shake that ass, make it clap, make it clap, make it clap." I'm at the front of the stage looking at the dance going, "Does she have scoliosis?" So now I take it upon myself to try and help her. Now I'm thinking, "Hey, Cinnamon," waving my $50 bill. "Cinnamon, over here. Over here, Cinnamon. Come here, Cinnamon." "No, get off my lap, Cinnamon. No, I don't want you in my lap. Take a knee, Cinnamon." "No, Cinnamon, not both knees. It's not the champagne room. One knee, take a knee." First of all, Cinnamon, great set. Okay, here's a tip. Remember that time when you're on the pole, you're working the pole, you're suspended off the ground, you're in a plank position, you're turning face up, your tits are pointing upwards, and everybody's clapping, and you had some kind of crazy suction between your legs holding to the pole? Do you remember that move? Yeah, I noticed your hips were misaligned. What that means is that your left abdominals is weak, and you got to activate that. You can activate that by, let me show you how on this pole. So when you grab the pole, you gotta squeeze the hips up here, tightens up the abs. That protects your L3, L4. I see a lot of injuries this way. And she's like, "Oh, that's so sweet. That's so kind of you, Dr. Daddy. You want to dance? Do you want to dance, baby?" I'm like, "Cinnamon, no, because your hips are really off, and my hips are balanced. I don't want to bump your ride. I don't want to ride Six Flags, not the Coney Island roller coaster. No, I don't need to bump your ride. In fact, you need me more than I need you. Here's my card." Folks, I helped 10 other dancers like Cinnamon that night. I changed the champagne room into examination room. And when everybody else was spending $500 on the strippers that night, I made $2,000 in consultation fees. I'm just saying. I know most of those dancers were saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm dancing to pay my way through college." Well, those dancers pay my daughter's tuition, so win-win. Folks, that's my time. My name is DC. Enjoys the rest of the show.
Thank you, DC. Now, I was just looking at some news and I wanted to do a public service announcement. The CDC has come out with a statement that there's a salmonella outbreak. So if you have a bunch of chickens in your backyard and you like to cuddle them and kiss them at night, you should not do that. I'm like, that's why I have chickens. Who doesn't like to invite them into the house and put them on the bed and cuddle with them? That's why they're cuddling chickens. Duh. Anyway, our next comic is Wayne, and I always mispronounce his last name, so I'm not going to say it. He'll say it. But he's a great guy. He co-founded the Washington, D.C. Comedy Writers Group. He's written up in the Washington Post because he's so committed to comedy that he spent time living in his car so he could do comedy. So that's dedication. And give it up for Wayne.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Allison. DC had me laughing like crazy. I'm like, I will never look at a strip club the same way. Going forward, I'm gonna be like, girl, how's your hip? Loved it. You had me cracking up. Hey guys, so welcome. My name is Wayne Manigo. I am coming to you live from Mary's House of Comedy, otherwise known as my mother's kitchen.
Mm.
Hey, this is what we got. We got Zoom shows. And the funny thing was, so I came home to visit my mother for Mother's Day, and I'm still here. Yeah, it's like, mom, you can't get rid of me. After like not spending 2 years with her, it's like her and my sister. And so I really missed them to death. But the downside to that is that when you spend too much time with your family, they tend to get on your nerves, but they also, like, they heard me practice and get ready for the show. And I said, they're going to hear me in the background. And I promised them that if they don't laugh for the remainder of my visit, I am leaving the toilet seat up. Yes, that's how you win. So, like I said, I'm Wayne Manigo. I'm an actor, I'm a writer, I'm a comedian. That's right, I've got 3 ways of disappointing my mom. Because none of this is like, really paying the bills like it used to. And it's funny because I also realized that this was going to be like an international show. And I'm like, man, I hope these jokes translate internationally because if not, I can see Allison just deducting right from my Bitcoin every time y'all are not laughing. So laugh it up, y'all. Laugh it up. And the funny thing is, again, I'm here with my family. And as things happen, things change. You start to notice certain things. Like right now, I'm realizing that my mom, as she's getting older, is getting a bit soft in her old age. And I'll give you an example. We were born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. And in Brooklyn, you got like ambulance, cop cars, fires, whatever's going on. I remember I used to like walk, I'm like, Mama, Mama, they shooting. And my mother's like, take your ass to bed. You got school tomorrow.
Jeez, whoa, whoa,
These
whoa, whoa,
days,
whoa,
yes, she
whoa,
did say
whoa,
that.
whoa, whoa.
These days, if I come into the kitchen and slam the cabinet door, I'm in detention in the corner. At 55 years old, I'm like, I didn't mean to slam the door, Mom. Mom's definitely getting up there. And the other thing is like, as I'm visiting my family, I've got my Aunt Pearl, who is the best cook in the entire family. I mean, you name it, she can cook it. If it's got a heartbeat, it's on the table. She's that good. But it's been a while since I've seen my Aunt Pearl. It's been actually a decade. So here I am. I'm going driving. I can't wait to get to Aunt Pearl's house. We're hanging out. We're talking, and I don't smell anything cooking. So I'm like, Aunt Pearl, are you cooking? She goes, oh, it's on the counter. I get to the counter, and there's a packet of bologna and some cheese. And I'm like, is this all you got? And she just looked at me, and goes, bet you won't wait another 10 years, will you? That is family. And so where did I end up going? McDonald's. Well, that's how anything goes. So here I am. I'm going to McDonald's, and I watch this guy come in, and he's like, I thought he was having a panic attack. He's like, I need an outlet. I need an outlet. He's running around. So I point to one in the corner, and this dude goes to the outlet, lifts up his pants leg, and plugs in his ankle bracelet.
Oh.
Exactly. Like, how good are the fries that you're willing to go to jail? What are you gonna tell him in jail? Like, yo, man, had to have those fries, man. Had to have those fries. I thought that was hilarious. This kind of reminds me of like the first time I did comedy. It was like a nice, small, intimate room, and I'm a clean comedian, but the owner at the time didn't know that. So right before I got on stage, she's like, Wayne, you can't make any black jokes, any white jokes, any gay jokes, nothing offensive. And so my first set was like, hi, I'm Wayne. Thank you and good night. I had nothing left. What can I say? But like Allison mentioned, so I've been doing comedy in a room for a while, and you ever realize that you're in a situation that you didn't know you were in? I'll give you an example. So if you work in Washington, D.C., and you're filling out a job application, they definitely give you like an extensive background check. It's just the way of the world there. So here I am, I'm filling out the application, name, Wayne Manigo, address, Honda Civic. Oh my God, I'm homeless. I'm glad you guys got that joke because my mother hates that joke. And so I had to explain, Mom, I'm not homeless. I'm America's guest. It goes down better that way. It's funny. You can be homeless and still have like the situation go like from weird to eerie. Like I remember I was dating this one chick, and she was telling me about her cats, and she actually explained to me like at one month she's like, my cat's got cancer, and I had to stop her right there. Like, wait a minute, Your cat has a better health plan than me? Hey, but I do love women who have cats because they are so forgiving. And I'll give you an example. You know, a cat can go out 2, 3 days out the street, come back home, and she's like, "Oh, where have you been?" But if that was her boyfriend or a husband, "Ah, where have you been?" Same words, different meaning. What can I say? Um, by the way, did you guys know that this is actually the 50th anniversary of Sesame Street? Sesame Street has been around for the big 5-0. And I'm sure that everyone's got a favorite Muppet that they enjoy. Here's the point where I get to point to the people in the Zoom audience, see who was their favorite Muppet. I'm going to go with Eileen. Who's your favorite Muppet?
The Count.
The Count. Did you pick him because he's so sexy? Did you pick
There
him
you
because
go.
it's
Ding,
like,
ding,
I can
ding.
date you and get an education. Yes, we are together.
That's right.
Allison, who's your favorite Muppet?
I like the Count too because I like vampires.
I think I know who started writing the Twilight series. Well, the funny thing, and DC, who's your favorite Muppet?
That character, the alien.
Who in Sam Hill is that? And of course, Jerry, who's your favorite?
I'd have to say the Count too, because he's somewhat autistic like me.
I can't even tag that. That's perfect as is. And last but not least, Anise, who's yours? Who's your favorite? You got to come off mute. Can't read lips.
I said the same one as Allison. Unfortunately, I don't know them very well. So I'm gonna go
That's-
with vampires.
No, that's fine. That means you grew up in a house with cable TV. You had premium channels. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Well, I've got two favorites that I absolutely love. First of all, I love Miss Piggy. Even in Muppet Land, I like my women thick. That's just how I roll. And besides, who doesn't like the taste of bacon?
Oh,
That's right. I said it. It's the devil's candy, and I'm going to hell. I said it. It had to be said. But my all-time favorite Muppet was Roosevelt Franklin. Do you guys remember Roosevelt Franklin?
Yeah. Yeah.
Roosevelt Franklin was the first Black Muppet on Sesame Street. And after 2 years, they fired him for portraying a negative stereotype. Think about this. I'm like, wait a minute. You fired the first Black Muppet. You created that negative stereotype. You got a Muppet with no job. Boom, there it is. But I did do a Google research. Roosevelt's doing quite fine, actually. He just wrote a brand new book called Sesame This. Brought to you by the letters F-U. Last story I'm going to share before I bounce off. So, like I said, the dating world is kind of different, but you got to be prepared, got to stay ready. And so I remember going to the market the other day, and I'm just picking up a pack of condoms because down south you never know. Might meet my missus right now. So here I am. I throw them on the counter, and as I'm waiting in line, I feel somebody like pulling and tugging and kicking me, and I'm like, what's going on here? And I look, and there's this little badass kid just acting a fool. But then he's like, his mother was like right there, but she's giving me a dirty look. And she's looking at the condoms, she's looking at me, I look at her, I look at the kid. I said, oh, too late for you, huh? She came back, she said, no, that's the brand that I use. Guys, my name is Wayne Maniger. Y'all have been absolutely fabulous. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the show, because if you don't, we're gonna have fun without you. Ha! Yeah, with it. Thank you, everybody. Love you.
Roosevelt Franklin Bone.
Elementary school.
Say it right. Say it with pleasure.
Elementary school.
Well, thanks so much. That was awesome. Coming up next, we got Jerry Hodges from Canada, another Canadian. I'm all about Canada, apparently. He runs the great show No Line to Cross Comedy every Sunday, and it's a wonderful show. You got to check it out sometime. Here's Jerry.
Hey, what's up? So, yeah, I just got Yeah, I just got in. I kind of like how the lineup went. I mean, it was a lineup of how all the comics will get killed in the horror movie. Yeah, they start off with the first three black guys, and we have kind of white sounding names. We got Wayne, and we got Jerry. Right? If this was a horror movie over the phone, we might have a small chance of survival until we have to go in for the interview. In which case, we're like, "Oh, you're Jerry? Yeah." Chainsaw right there. But yeah, unlike Dee, I do have the benefit of actually still living in Canada. And a lot of Americans are thinking, hey, you're a Canadian in Canada. You know, you got all the benefits. You got healthcare, and there's no racism up there. It is racist up here, but it's more subliminal. I was starting to think the whole dairy industry might be racist. Yeah, because the two best-selling cheeses in Canada are Black Diamond and Cracker Barrel. Yeah, you can't get away with anything else like Ching Chong Cheddar. Can't do that. Tacky Parmesan, that ain't happening. I don't know if you know this, but actually I bought this jersey a while ago because this is going to be the last year that the Cleveland Indians will be known as the Cleveland Indians. But I'm Canadian, and this is a Joe Carter jersey. So since I'm Canadian, that kind of gives me evens the whole thing out. But this isn't the first time something like this has happened in sports where they had to change the team name. See, there was a team called the Washington Bullets in basketball, but they were forced to change their name because bullets are violent and negative. So now the team has been known as the Washington Wizards. Okay, let me get back up the street. Indians, right? Indians. They are racist and degrading towards Native people, right? Bullets are negative and violent. But you're telling me it's okay to take a professional sports team full of black people and name them after the leader of the KKK? Yeah, let's keep going with that. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the field, the Washington White Nationalists. You know, let's keep this going. Let's go down south and name that hockey team the Florida Black Panthers.
That's good.
Yeah, hey, at least it'll be easier to see them on the ice, right? I don't know if you guys know who Terry Fox is. Does anyone know who Terry Fox is? No one? Okay. Terry Fox, okay. Just DC, okay. So Terry Fox was a cancer victim back in the 80s, 70s, 80s. He ran across Canada to help raise money for cancer research. And they were talking about putting him on the Canadian $5 bill. To me, it makes sense because neither Terry Fox nor a $5 bill could go as far as they used to.
Oh, man.
You know why I say that? He's been dead for almost 30 years. Too dark. Okay. The other day I was cleaning my place. You can tell by the masturbation station behind me. I was doing some housework and I was vacuuming, and out of nowhere, I just pulled something in my rib. I don't know at what age does housework become a blood sport? That's what I want to know. I think Allison was talking about animals a little while ago, talking about chickens, something like that. All my chickens in my freezer, but one thing that I have fresh happens to be tuna. Yeah, I like tuna. Some people don't like tuna. I like tuna. And people are asking me what's the difference between dolphin safe tuna and dolphin tuna. Dolphin tuna is extra salty. Yeah. That's because it's from the dolphin's tears.
Oh.
I did a show for Frankenstein's monster. He was in stitches.
Oh.
I'm going to do a whole bunch of one-liners now.
Okay.
Okay. So, Kinder Surprise. I call it child labor in a chocolate shell. I went out for Halloween dressed as a soccer ball. I did it just for kicks. I went on a blind date one time. She spent the whole night going like this. You can take the blindfold off now. I haven't seen her since. I can't believe it's not butter. Created by a man that can't spell margarine. I bought a defective memory foam pillow. Turns out it has Alzheimer's. Do atheists believe in making snow angels?
Hmm.
Yeah, that gets you thinking. Did you know that in 2019, that all 4 major pageants in the U.S. were won by women of color? Miss Teen USA, Miss America, Miss USA, and Miss Universe, all won by women of color, which is a great accomplishment.
Yeah.
Here's my problem with that. When are we going to have a Miss Universe from another plane of existence? When are we going to learn that Martian lives matter? Now that I think of it, this is one joke I always wanted to do. I haven't done it for a while. I noticed that over the past 80 years, there's been a lot of change, especially in professional sports. 80 years ago, the amount of women that were involved in professional sports were about 3%. I'm talking about athletes, journalists, in front and behind the camera. 3% were women. Now we're in 2021. That's bumped up to over 40%, which I think is awesome. Here's my problem with that. When I am getting intimate, usually by myself, I use professional sports to help calm myself down in order to make the activity of self-love last that much longer. I don't know what anyone else is into. Like I've always been a breast man. There's some people who are furries. Okay, yes, I've always been a breast man. Some people are into furries, some people are into water sports. But for me, imagining Felice Herrig in her skirt or UFC gear doesn't exactly keep the troops in the barracks, if you know what I'm talking about. As I mentioned, I've always been a breast man. There are men into, I was a boob man when I was younger, right? And I matured. So I am now a breast man. But there are men into breasts, there's men into legs, asses, and there's even men into feet. Yeah. DC, I saw you raise your hand to that. Hey, no judgment here. No judgment here. Because you're on the positive side. The negative foot people just hear the word feet and they're like, feet were mentioned, lockdown. That's the sound of every orifice in their body going on lockdown. No judgment here. Do you know why there are men into feet? Because apparently, if a woman takes care of her feet, that means she takes care of everything else on her. I'm talking nails, hair, makeup, clothes, but not in every circumstance. See, I was doing this, I was out with this one woman from that website called Plenty of Last Resorts. She wore almost like my dream outfit. She had this leather jacket on, she had a leopard print skirt, but she was wearing flip-flops. And at that time, I could tell she was a foot model for the velociraptors in Jurassic Park.
Oh.
Yeah, and she was wearing flip-flops, like a size too small. So it looked like her toes were like grabbing on, like for dear life. And the fucked up thing about that is she had the Greek feet, by which I mean the second toe is longer than the big toe. So her toe's like hanging on, just trying to grasp on, just basically saying, don't let my soles hit the floor. Oh, please don't. And she kind of had a bunion on there. It kind of looked like a sixth toe there that almost looked like it was painted. I think that if it wasn't for COVID, well, even if it was COVID and she can't find a job herself, her feet could get a job hanging at the edge of the top of churches, keeping evil spirits away.
Oh man.
Yeah, she had gargoyle feet, right? I just had to do that joke. I was trying to get people to watch the show, and they're like, "No, I can't watch the show." It's like, come on, it's practically free, and it's for a good cause. They're like, "No, I can't." So I decided at this point, I'm going to lose all my homeless friends. So I'm based out of Ottawa. Did you know Ottawa owns 2 world records? Yeah, one world record is the world's largest canal. It's called the Rideau Canal. The other world record is for the world's largest group hug. Thank you. It was over 10,500 people. Coincidentally, they own held an unofficial third world record on that same day because over 10,500 wallets were reported missing. I don't know what other jokes I have here. So what else do I have here? I just did the dolphin joke. I listen to a lot of music. I found out that I am technically a white-sounding black man, which is great for certain circumstances. My favorite activity as a white-sounding black man is making my white dates, racist grandparents extremely uncomfortable. But one bad thing about being a white-sounding black man is dating itself, because women don't know whether I'm the right amount of danger or the wrong amount of safety. Even my friend's dog hates that joke. But I listen to a lot of different music. I listen to rap, I listen to rock, I listen to metal, I listen to R&B, Motown. I even listen to swing and ska and punk. I listen to jazz. I like jazz music, but I only listen to it during sex. And I haven't listened to jazz for a long time. I'll even listen to opera music, but the one type of music I cannot stand for the life of me is country music. Take that country music away from me, seriously. I mean, what the hell? What's the worst thing that can happen in country music? Your spouse leaving you is like, my wife left me from a pickup truck, and really, I don't give a darn. You know. I'll give country music this. It came a long way since the first country music song was created. You know, there was just some guy depressed on his porch in the 1870s, just plucking on his banjo, singing a song going, I'm singing a sad, sad song, 'cause now all my slaves are gone. You know, kind of. Gotta start picking my own cotton. I got no one to whip. I got an itchy finger on my trigger, hoping I could shoot some ducks. I know it's unprofessional. I'm just looking to ask, how much time do I have left?
You're about done.
I'm about done. Can I do one last one-liner?
You can.
Okay. If the TV show Bones was a porno, would they need to change the title? My first time doing that on the stage. Thank you. I'm done. Thank you.
That was great. Now, coming up to the stage is someone that I used to do open mics with all the time. And I've got one little story I got to share. I used to take the metro and the bus around Washington, D.C. to get around. And every now and again, one of his bits would pop itself into my head, and I would just start laughing my head off on the bus or the metro. And everyone looked at me like, what the hell is wrong with that woman? She's crazy laughing like that. Just laughing like a hyena. So I want to bring up Tyler Richardson, who makes me laugh on the bus and look like a crazy person. So welcome.
Thank you, Allison. It's been too long since I've seen a lot of you. Wayne, everybody was hilarious. And I'm glad that we're doing this for a great cause. I'm prepared to talk about bacon for long, but for the sake of entertainment, I suppose we should get to know each other. I was born in North Dakota. I enjoy the look on people's faces when I tell them that. It's a lot like wonder. It's as though maps don't exist, and they believe that Black people are unaware of North Dakota and the fact that they can travel there. White people generally want to ask it, like their mouth starts to do but they don't, and I respect that. I remember this one night, I was at this club and I said that, and the front row was a bunch of like 70, 80-year-old white women. They were all from North Dakota. So I come up and I told them I was born there, and I was like, now, where in North Dakota am I from? And all of them instantly go, Minot, North Dakota. because they know that that's where the Air Force Base is. And that's the only reason that a Black person would be born.
Ah.
100% correct. That's why I speak well, if you can't tell. And it's been something growing up like that, you know, and the list, but we'll get there. Speaking the way that I do, you know, everybody assumes you want to be something else. Like Black people assume that you want to be white, and white people assume that you want to be white. And it's like, no, I just talk a certain way, and people expect me to drop it. Like a lot of Black people will talk one way around white people, and then when they're gone, they're, you know, themselves. When that huddle happens, I'm still this, but they're gone. You can drop. No, I'm just, you know, pleasant. With white people, I remember as a kid, and I hope times have changed enough that my son doesn't have to go through it. Kids like that were white would be like, "Hey, you talk white," and I was like, "No, I speak well." Like I talk white means Black people can't speak well. I can't have that. So I would head over to the Black kids, and they would be like, "Man, you talk white," and I was like, "What's happening right now? Like, you guys aren't making it fair." And I hope he never has to go through that. Now here comes the list part, because people assume I have a speech impediment. Let me make that very clear. I'm no different than someone with a stutter. I'm not sure what Tourette's qualifies as, but we generally have sympathy for those people. When someone has a lisp, everyone assumes that they love penis. They love it. They can't keep it out of their mouth. They love it.
All right.
Right? And that's a big jump. Like stutter people only have to worry about somebody trying to complete the sentence, but I have to prove to you it's not fair. It's not right. And I hope times have changed. But I also feel like an old man because times have changed. I'll give you an example. I was at the park today, and our son was looking like he was going to try to shove a kid out of his way to like get down the slide. And I was like, "Don't do that." But when I told him to let the other kid go, I was like, "Let him go." And then my wife and I had a moment where we both go, "Is that a him?" Because nowadays you have no idea. And people get very offended if you even try to like clarify what you're looking at. Because my wife one time asked somebody, "Oh, what's your daughter's name?" Now, instead of the lady telling her, "That's a boy, we've just let him have long hair," she got mad and left the park. And we were like, wow, that's not how we thought that interaction would go. So now we have to be very careful and I guess not use pronouns, which is the lesson of, I'm going to say the decade, because the lesson of the year probably has more to do with coronavirus and how that's affected this whole world. But yeah, it's a different time, and I'm old. I'm stuck in my ways a little bit. I'm having conversations with myself that I never thought I would have. Like, I have to tell my son talking about farts and farting in public aren't funny. That's not something I ever thought that I would have to tell somebody, but he farts and he seems to enjoy it. And I got to burst that balloon and tell him, "Hey, people don't like that. So you got to do that with your friends. Keep it to yourself." But farts are like a child's laughter. You want to share it with the world. Am I right? I am. You don't have to say anything. But we're not allowed to enjoy the simple things in life. I have to tell him, despite knowing how fun unprotected sex is, it's why he's here. I have to tell him, don't do that. Right? That's crazy. But I'm really hoping that he won't, because I'm not going to be a pleasant grandfather. You know how nowadays people are just living at home until they're 40, 50, dead? I can't have that. Once you're 18, the locks have changed, and I don't want him to get to the doorstep and find that out. I want him to leave and never come back. Aren't being honest about parenthood. And I'm only a few years in, but I'll tell you something. It is not the joyful experience that people are trying to sell you on. I think that's got something to do with religious people trying to trick folks into having more people that they can convert. Because the reality is you don't sleep, you're constantly annoyed. I don't know what, I mean, sure, slavery is nice. And I say that because when he's up for chores, I'm really plotting out a good way to go about that thing. I can't wait for him to ask me for an allowance. It's gonna be, okay, I wanna teach him how hard people work to make a minimum wage, right? Because you need to learn about money. So I'm going to have him act as a McDonald's worker for an hour when he comes to me and wants free money. I'm not gonna go buy a bunch of like patties and fries and stuff. I'm just gonna have him mime the movements of like drive-through workers, cashiers and whatnot. And I'm gonna give him orders for an hour. And when he's done, I'm not gonna pay him. Instead, I'm going to tell him like, all right, now, do you see how hard some people have to work to make $15? Now, think about that and come at me with what you think I should pay you to wash dishes and take out the trash and whatnot. I'm looking very forward to it. This is the kind of time that I've got on my hands. This is how I fantasize. I wake up 5:30 in the morning now and I think to myself, how can I mold this young man? It's really something. I've got some insane thoughts and ideas and punishments, all kinds of craziness, because I was beaten as a kid. Anyone? Yeah, that's good stuff. Because like we say beat, but we look back on it with like love. So my mother was a small woman, and she found ways to keep me afraid until I was 14, 15. And for that, I give her respect. I would never raise my voice at her because she's earned that. I remember one time she was standing in between me and the window, and she goes, "Hey, close the window." And I looked at her and I was like, but you're closer. And she knocked a broom out of my hands. And when I went to pick up the broom, she kicked me in the ribs.
Oh.
I know. She's a classy woman. I respect it to this day. And I closed the window. Good on her. That woman's a saint. Don't you dare judge her. I see some of you. And if I can't see you, I can hear the judgment. Shame on you. It's hard. It's hard not to lay hands on children. I don't care what anyone says. And I thank all of the fathers that came before me. I think of them daily. I used to read when I lived in Virginia, the daily like crime, and they would have mugshots of people. Sometimes you recognize people, but a lot of times it would just be dads that, you know, got too like shape crazy. And I just think of them often. I'm like, you know what, man, you don't want to be in prison explaining how you thought that a shake would just make them. So it's my work. Normally I would say that I'm impatient, but after becoming a father, then I knew, because there's no choice. It doesn't matter if they broke a PlayStation 5 that you can't go buy again. The law says you go to prison, and right or wrong, you know. No, am I wrong? I see a lot of good, because PlayStation 5, like that's invaluable, right? Anybody got one? No, I wanted to rub that in for a second. I got lucky. I was watching Twitter. A dude said they're at Target. Boom, ba boom, boom, boom. I got one, and then here we are months later, and nobody can. If I didn't love it like my second child that I'll never have, I would definitely sell it for money. Here's another thing: vasectomies. A lot of people like to say that vasectomies are not a big deal. And in the grand scheme of things, as opposed to like how invasive it is for a woman to get her tubes tied, a vasectomy is not a big deal. But people like take it real easy. They treat it like you're taking a sip of tea. No, it's nothing like that. You can't just go back to work. I found that out because I arrived for surgery and I left some work stuff in my office. And the guy was like, okay, now what are you going to do when you leave? And I was like, I'm going to walk back to my office and get my bag. And he was like, no. And I was like, why not? And he's like, because your thighs are going to rub against your testicles. Because you never think about that, how much contact they're really making until they're cut open and you're vulnerable. So I told him, okay, can I take the train home? And he goes, no. And I said, why? And he goes, because there's stairs. And I was like, well, what's that about? And he's like, well, you're going to make a lot more contact with the thigh to testicle thing on stairs. So those are out. First of all, when I was there, they don't put you to sleep. You're awake. You can see they're talking to you and you can talk back. And he like gives me a shot in one testicle and he's like, okay, slice. And I said, I felt that. And he was like, oh, gives me another shot. Does his thing. He's stitching now. And you know, the last one, you give it a little. And I was like, I felt that too. And he moves on to the other one. This time he gives me two. And there's so much blood that I can see that was a little. He tells me, hey, don't get your private parts wet for like a week, I think, because it'll dissolve your sutures, the stitches. Now, really think about that, because okay, thinking I can take a shower without getting my crotch, but it all just flows downhill. And it doesn't matter. I tried to do like head first. I would do something, and it didn't. Day 3, my right side has totally dissolved. So now I've got a gaping hole in the right side that I start freaking out. And like customer service is something, because doctor wasn't trying to answer his phone and make himself available like he was UPS or something, how they won't let you just speak to a person. And eventually I got a hold of one of his receptionists and I was like, look, my office is 2 blocks away. I have no issue with coming in there and screaming about how my testicles are exposed. And so finally she puts me on the phone with the doctor. And he was like, just, slap some gauze on it and give it a week. If it doesn't close up, then we'll talk again. And I was like, I'll trust you because I don't have a choice. But if this whole thing doesn't work out, like if it doesn't take and I can still have kids, no one will ever touch my testicles again. And that's a promise. I'll go to the grave. Like I'll never. It was so weird. And for 3 weeks, I'd never been so aware of my scrotum. It was at one point like a cartoon. And I remember my sister, she came from Virginia to visit on the day of my vasectomy, because again, everyone treats it like you're having a cup of tea. And so when I told her that I was having a vasectomy that day, she was like, oh, that's fine. I'll be there like 5:45 or something in the afternoon. Calls. I go downstairs to let her in. I leave my phone upstairs. The doctor told me to stay away from stairs. So I go downstairs, I open the door, she's not there. I'm looking around because I don't want to go back upstairs and grab my phone just to do this all again. He doesn't appear. So I go back upstairs, grab my phone. Of course, she answers. Oh, wrong door. She's coming back now. When I get back downstairs and let her in, I'm annoyed, but it's when I'm going back up the stairs, I feel a river like running down my thighs. So I look down, I'm wearing jeans and they are just soaked with blood. I loved those jeans and I can't stress that enough. I don't know if women go through this, but guys, jeans aren't cheap. And if I said Calvin Klein to you, you know, and it's real, you know it's not cheap. So I found these Calvin Klein jeans at a Marshall's, and they were like $29.99, but they were the best looking light blue jeans you've ever seen in your life. I had those jeans for 8 years, and I had to kiss those bad boys goodbye because my sister wasn't at the right place at the right time. And my testicles were open. So, I don't know, man. Just think long and hard. Like when you have a vasectomy, plot your week out. Take it easy. Don't take it like a breeze. But you know, when that whole thing is done, go crazy. Don't have more children. Here's something. They don't just give you a hospital bill. They come in waves. Nobody talks to you about that. My wife didn't have some like crazy birth, but it was $8,000 with insurance. And it was like one bill and then more started coming. And I was like, why didn't they just send it as one bill instead of this like continuous wave of bills? And then you got to pay for a nanny. And I don't know what life is like down there, but over here, they want like 50, 60 grand a year. I don't know if this is funny. It's sad and it's real. And that's why I had to get the vasectomy, because like after the started rolling on that first one, I was like, this is not a cruise that I want to take again. I can't. I don't know, like, you know how people have 7 sometimes? I have always wondered, what do you do for a living that you can afford to give 7 people a life? You know how much a trip to McDonald's is if you've got 4? I only know this because an old coworker of mine was like in that situation. He was like, it cost me like $115.
Mm.
Wow.
That's disgusting to go to like McDonald's. Those people who have 7, like I see Hispanic people. I live in a very Hispanic neighborhood, Bushwick, Brooklyn, what's up? And the Hispanic people here, they totally treat, you know, having a bunch of kids like it is no sweat. And part of me is jealous because I don't get it. They're so short, and that's got nothing to do with anything, but they are. And they've got so many, and I'm just like, man, I really hope that like you've got a brick of gold or something because they are so expensive. Can you recycle diapers?
Oh.
No, nobody knows. I think you can, but once they stop eating like the baby food and they start eating people food, I was thinking about changing a child. I was thinking about my my great grandmother who had Alzheimer's. I had to change her, and that was graphic, but hilarious. Okay, let's end on a high note. Jail. Has anyone
No.
been to jail? No?
You-
Yes, me. Only a few things that I saw worth talking about. One of them was a fight where both guys were naked, but no one seemed to care. So we're in the shower stalls, and an argument is taking place over a game of basketball. So one of the guys steps out of the shower stalls into his flip-flops, and he was like, it's on. Other dude steps out. They just start like grabbing, and you know, they're flipping, skin smacking on tile and whatnot. And somebody shouts out, oh shit, those naked dudes are brawling. A crowd develops. Everybody circles around. I am on the other side of the crowd from the fight, so I'm separated from the crowd by the fight. Correctional officer comes over and he was like, yo, get off that man. You, pointing at me. You, come over here. I took a look at him and I took a look at the 2 naked dudes in front of me, and I was like, nah. I don't know if you guys remember old school cartoons when there used to be like a big puff of smoke and a fist and a foot, and whoever got too close got sucked in. But
yeah. Yeah.
I also saw a lot of like gambling, but they didn't have money to use. So they used like bread, salt, crackers and stuff. And I remember this one dude came up to me and was like, man, I owe that dude 30 Beyoncés. I was like, all right, what is a Beyonce? And he goes, hold on, I'll show you. He points to another dude that owes him Beyonces, and he was like, hey, give me 5 Beyonces right now. That dude is in the middle of a conversation. Stop. Put his hands on the wall and goes, no. I promise you, I don't know how gambling got such a hold on these dudes, but that's an addiction I've ever seen. God, I almost wanted to talk about unprotected sex, but we can't do that. And I hope that like this hasn't been horribly awkward to the charity. There weren't like restrictions on. Is she muted, Allison?
Oh, sorry. No, just keep going.
Oh, well, I
Don't worry about it.
She said
We're
that.
all adults. We're all adults.
Good. All right. I do want to end this on let's end this on a nice emotional thing. For the last few days, life is great, and I hope that life is great for everybody that's on this call. I met this dude. He was homeless, and I really wanted to give him money, but for some reason I didn't. It didn't occur to me until after we had left each other. So the next day, I see a guy, but I'm in a rush to get to work, and I didn't give him anything at that moment. I get to a train, and I'm one stop away from my office, and this woman comes on. This is gonna sound funny, but I don't mean it to be. I was wearing a brand new pair of Jordans at the moment. So she comes on, she says something, I'm wearing headphones, but I can tell that she is asking for money. She's making her way over to me, and as she's coming over, I'm thinking about the cash that I have on me, but I'm also thinking about the fact that I have large denominations first, and I thought it would be rude to peel those back to give her some ones. When she comes to me, she starts pointing to my shoes, and I acknowledged it with like a nod. And then I turned off my music because she kept pointing and talking. So she was telling me like, hey, nice shoes. And I felt horrible because I didn't give her any money. And it's been on my mind for the last few days that I just really want to try to do more to help people. I feel like my heart is good, but it's actions that matter. And so I hope that you all feel as I do, and hopefully you do more than I do. I'll work on that, but I hope that you also decide to look within yourself and give when you can. Thank you. I've been Tyler.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, DC. Thank you, Wayne, for being part of this event. I'd like to this is happens to be a cause that I care deeply about. I think what's happened to Paul Rusesabagina is not just dangerous for him, but for all of us. I think if someone can be kidnapped if a leader of one country can kidnap a citizen of another with impunity, then nobody on the planet is safe. And with that, I would like to turn the floor over to Anais, who can give us more of a personal perspective on all of this. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Allison, and thank you so much to Wayne, Jerry, DC, and Terry for this wonderful evening and for just making us laugh so much. I must say it's really difficult to sometimes escape from the worries that we have all the time. But tonight I was definitely able to decompress and to forget about things. So thank you so much. I also want to thank everyone who came to join us this evening and for supporting us to raise funds for my father's legal defense fund. You know, without the support that we can get with this legal defense fund, it would have a lot of difficulties bringing my father back. And we have a wonderful team of lawyers who are working very hard. And like with this defense fund, we're able to support them as well. Like, Tyler said at the end, it's all about action, do something for somebody else. And I think everyone showing up here is also really important. It shows the action and the support for my father and what you can do. Well, we've been in this last few months, and actually 8 months now, one second, sorry, we've had a difficulty just making sure that everyone is aware of my father's situation. You know, we're really grateful for the media attention we have received, but we need to make sure that his name stays alive, because the more we talk about it in our living rooms with our friends, the more we have chances to bring him back home. You know, he's been living in solitary confinement for over 250 something days. They still don't give him his prescribed medication. He's a cancer survivor. So in addition to all the injustice he's endured in the last 8 months, you know, he's living with these are the things that's really difficult for us. And so if you're able to also tell your friends about my father, let them know about what's happening, in the hope to raise more voices and to come together, that we can bring him back. You know, he always wanted to speak for the most vulnerable. Today, he's the most vulnerable out of him. He needs somebody to speak for him. And so we're very grateful that we can have such event where we can have a little bit of like calmness and peace, and it's just enjoy and laugh a little bit, because I think he's a laughter. He would have enjoyed being part of this, hearing all of you. He probably would have cracked a joke at the end, not like I can. And so I'm not doing it justice right now, but we're just so thankful for everything that you're doing, and we're just also really thankful for everyone who's joined us this evening.
Thank you for that. Thank you everyone for being a part of this. No Business with Genocide will have more events coming up, so we'll keep you posted. You have a question, somebody?
I was gonna say something. If you want to just follow what's happening with our father's situation, you know, don't hesitate to check out our freerecessabagina.org website, or follow us on Twitter. I also put the information here on Instagram. We try to make sure to keep up with the information, the status, and so yeah. If you want to keep up with us, I'll make sure you have all the information. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, please follow our hashtag Free the Hero on Twitter and on also any social media that you use. No Business with Genocide is also going to be working to do what we can to spread the word about this important situation. And again, I just want to thank everyone for being here. Please, you can always email me, allison.chadwick@nobusinesswithgenocide.org, or allison@allisonchadwick.com. And have a great night. And thank you all again for coming. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot to mention, a recording of this will be available later. So if you want to revisit it, you will be able to.
No problem.
Okay. Have a great night, everybody.
You too.